But another big reason why I wanted to really invest TBATE into ACAT was the fact that they wanted to put their all into it.
The anime adaptation of Beginning After the End is the biggest disaster of 2025, and it's genuinely insane to watch it unfold. I still remember when people used to wish for a TBATE adaptation and saying things like Ufotable or Madhouse should be the ones to animate it, and I remember the reaction of fans when they ended up with Studio ACAT, who have a track record of producing masterpieces like I've somehow gotten stronger when I improved my farm related skills. The craziest part was the fans who are still coping when the studio has only produced anime with a rating below 7 and going as low as 4.8 on my anime list. I know you shouldn't take my anime list ratings too seriously, but those are absolutely diabolical numbers. But as everyone says, you should not judge a book by its cover, or a studio in this case. So, because I hate myself, I watched the first 2 episodes of the TBATE anime, and it's true, it really ended before it even began. We have a bottom 10% quality anime adaptation for a webtoon that's considered to be in the top 10% in terms of writing. Now, just to be clear, I did not want my first experience with TBATE to be through the anime, so before starting the anime, I read around the first 20 chapters of the webtoon, and to my surprise, it was actually pretty good. It's uncannily similar to Mushoku Tensei in certain aspects, but I love the slow burn start and the fact that, just like in Mushoku, Arthur's previous life is an important part of his character and not just discarded after getting reincarnated. It's genuinely a pretty good fantasy reincarnation story, and that's why the anime adaptation is even more disappointing. The anime barely fucking moves and every single fight has been a PowerPoint presentation for the most part. And it's not even an exaggeration like how people used to talk about Sakamoto Days. Sakamoto Days used a lot of tricks to hide the lack of movement in certain action scenes, but at least the staff was putting in the effort and there were some pretty good cuts in most episodes. TBATE, however, has actual still frames presented like a PowerPoint. I genuinely burst out laughing in the scene where you can hear the running sound effects and the voice acting while the screen is completely still for a few seconds. This shit is so ass it loops around to being funny as fuck. Episode 2 was supposed to be like the first turning point for TBATE. Arthur gets separated from his parents after he's finally starting to get attached to them. A really big and important part of the story, and it looks worse than 90% of isekai slop that comes out every single season. And the worst part is that this is not even the worst it'll get for the anime. Because of how anime is being produced in recent years, it's borderline impossible for studios to keep the quality consistent, and there's usually a drop-off after the first few episodes. Of course, some high-priority episodes will still look good, but the average quality gets worse the longer a show continues without break. Even insanely popular shonen mega hits like Dan Da Dan are safe from this, and TBATE will definitely not be the exception. I assume we'll be getting some all-time worst-looking anime episodes in the second half of the show. The only good thing I can say about the anime is that the music is honestly pretty good, but that's about it. Now let's talk about why exactly does the TBATE anime look so horrendous. Based on what the author TurtleMe said in an interview with Crunchyroll, he was apparently given a list of animation studios to choose from, and the reason he picked Studio ACAT was because the director was a fan of the source material way before the anime was even being considered. And the second reason was, because Studio ACAT doesn't really have any flagship IPs, they could give their 100% to TBATE. Now, me personally, I think both of these reasons are PR bullshit, and the real reason is that Tapas Media and Crunchyroll wanted the cheapest and fastest option, willing to work on a consecutive 2-core anime. Good animation always requires time, and TBATE was cooked from the start because the anime was announced not even 6 months before it started airing. So yeah, I'd suggest everyone to skip the anime and read the webcomic or novel if you're interested in the story. Even the author himself wanted to get some more eyes on the source material in case the anime was a failure based on his Discord messages. And that's pretty much all I have to say about the TBATE anime. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed the video and consider subscribing for more anime content. Peace.